It's that time again. We're back with day 3 of the ASL Season 13 Round of 8. This time around, it's going to be a Terran versus Protoss. You see it right there. SK Telecom facing off versus each other. It's going to be JYJ versus Bisu. Of course, I'm joined by Scan. Scan, what do you think about this match?
Well, like I said yesterday, it is going to be just like both players are really play. They love to play really aggressive, so it's gonna be like a spear versus spear. So whoever makes the better game scenario in the early stage of the game, that player will start leading the game pace and then start attacking and harassing each other, with maybe some type of like a Reaver drop or maybe the Vulture drop by JYJ, because I know JYJ often uses his dropship in TVP in early stage, and I would like to see how well he's going to be played against Bisu.
Yeah, it's the return of Bisu. I know a lot of players or a lot of fans want to see him go very far, but I really want to see what JYJ's got planned out, because in Season 10, he eliminated Bisu in the round of 16. And then in the follow-up season, JYJ actually made it into the round of 8, and his group was not easy at all. It had Soma, Sharp, and Best, and he ended up making it out of that group. He only got round of 16 last season, but you can see with him already being in the round of 8, he's looking like he's in tip-top shape so far. I was not aware that he's a dropship player in TVP, but no surprise there, because some of the best dropship players of all time all come from SK Telecom.
Oh, that is that is definitely true. And we're gonna be taking a look at this highlight video. There's music, so I won't be playing the sound. We have to be recording this video, so we won't be allowing the sound, the music, and those are the insane mech play by JYJ against JD. I wasn't actually expecting of him using mech. And of course, that is Bisu. He got eliminated in Season 9 by Soma in a best of 5 series, I believe. But now he's back. He's back to his quarterfinal.
And he's playing really well these days, along with Rain, which we're going to see next week. Again, that match has been canceled until further. Well, it's planned to be next week. Hopefully we'll get to see it. Very excited to see that one. And we are going to have interviews with the players, I think. Oh, no. Yeah, we are.
Okay, this is ASL Season 13, Round of 8. This is the match 4. It is going to be JYJ versus Bisu. Yesterday we have seen Light versus Action. Those games were insanely, like, a lot of mind games were going on between those two players, doing 4 pull, 8 racks into some type of like a 10 racks build into 3 Marine aggression. And Light eventually made it into semifinal, and we're excited to see some nice game of today as well. JYJ and Bisu, how are you guys doing? So JYJ, you got eliminated in a quarterfinal before, and you were just one step away of getting into seeded player for the next season, but you weren't able to. And how do you feel about this round of 8? And JYJ says he's not that grateful to play against Bisu in this round of 8. He's not happy to play against Bisu. And Bisu, you lost to JYJ before. There's something that you have to fight back and give him a loss, like how you got lost by JYJ last time. And how do you feel? And JYJ says, Bisu says, he still remembers how he lost to JYJ in the previous season, so he kind of wants to pay him back.
그렇기 때문에 오늘도 좀 3대0 셧아웃 승리를 많은 분들이 기대하고 계실 것 같고.
And JYJ, you made it into this quarterfinal without losing any game. 3-0 total in round of 16. And are you going to be making another 3-0 once again of this best of 5 series.
선수는 오늘 승리를
And
거두고
he's not really caring about
4강에
the
2017년
score.
11월에 있었던 시즌 4
He really wants
이후에
to make it into
5년
semifinal.
만에 4강 진출입니다.
네.
정말 너무나 갈망을 하고 계실
So
것
it's been a long
같은데
time for Bisu that he hasn't made it into
궁금해요.
quarterfinal.
상황에 올라간다는 게 좀
And how do you feel? And what
올라가면
did you
좀
prepare for this today's
좋아할
match?
것 같고, 일단은 제가 8강에서 올라가더라도 좀 경기력이 좋았으면 좋겠어요.
Bisu kind of wants
너무
to have
경기력이 안
some
좋았어가지고
great performance today.
올라간다 한데
He used to
경기력이 안
show
좋으면
some
또 J1
bad
질 것
performance in the
같아가지고
previous season,
좀
so
제가 지더라도
even if he loses
좋은
today's
경기력
game,
펼치는 게 우선인
he
것
really
같아요.
wants to show some great
이게 좀
performance.
오랫동안 푸시는 것 같은데
regarding of the
감독이나
score.
이런 것들은 오늘 괜찮은 편인가요?
How are you
저는
feeling
신청할
about the
때는 안
mouse
좋았는데
sensitivity of
오늘은
today's
괜찮더라고요.
game
세팅을
setting?
좀 알려준 시청자분이 계셔가지고 그거대로 하니까 좀 잘 풀리더라고요.
And
이번
previously he
선수는
had
최상의
some
김태균 선수입니다. 일단 오늘 두 선수의 경기
computer setting
오전
problem, but
3승 이제
he got some
다전으로
feedback by his
펼쳐집니다.
fan
온라인상에서 펼쳐진
how he
상대
should be
성적은 이두
fixing
선수가
it,
2대 1로 굉장히
and
팽팽한
he
상황이기
kind of feels
때문에
okay
접전을
of
예상하고
today's
계시는
game.
분들도 많은데요. 정영재 선수는 오늘 몇 대 몇의 스코어를 좀 예상하고 계실까요?
So what is your prediction of this today's best of 5 series? And JYJ says if he wins the first game, if he wins the first game, it is going to be 3-0 for JYJ. And if he loses his first game, he thinks it's gonna be easily getting knocked out in this
1세트가 가장
quarterfinal easily.
중요하다라고 대답한 정영재 선수입니다.
And that's how JYJ answered. And what do you think, Bisu?
계시는데 상대가 김태경 선수는 오늘 세트 스코어 몇 대 몇을 예상?
What do you think of your prediction?
저도 옛날에는 그래도 다전제를 경험을 많이
So in the
했거든요.
previous,
그때 1경기 중요성을 많이
Or
알아서
in the past,
역시
he
마찬가지로
did play a lot of best of 5
이기면
series.
뭐 그냥 이길 것 같고
And like how JYJ
좀
said,
힘들지 않을까
Bisu
그런
is
생각이
saying
듭니다.
almost the same thing. Game number one is going to be the most important game for both players. If Bisu loses first game, it might gonna be turning out to be a hard game for Bisu.
도달하는데 최선을 다하도록
So JYJ says for the last word before we go to the game,
경쟁 기세가
JYJ
좀 좋은 것
says
같아요, 요새.
he really wants to achieve his
기세를
goal.
갖고 한번
And
열심히
Bisu,
해보겠습니다.
he wants to
he
wants to play a really great game today.
오늘 멋진 경기 기대하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
and he just wants to make it into semifinal as
자,
well
이렇게
too.
정영재
And thank you for the
선수와
interview.
김태경 선수와 이야기 나눠봤습니다. 과연
And
오늘 어떤 선수가
we are
승리를
excited
거두고
to
4강에
see
올라선 이재호
how they are
선수를
going to be played of this
만나게
best of 5
될지 두 번째
series of
경기
this
함께 하시죠.
TVP.
Thank you for that translation scan. And it's interesting to hear JYJ thinks he'll win 3-0 if he starts off with a 1-0 lead because look at that map pool. I mean, Eclipse is a good PvT, is it not? And I remember you saying that you didn't like Monopoly earlier on in the season, I think?
I kind of didn't like about Monopoly against Zerg, I believe.
Oh, versus Zerg?
Yeah, I think I said about a TVZ on Monopoly because the middleless harassment at the natural is just so hard to defend. And we are also taking a look at this round of 8 matches. Match 4. JYJ, if he wins this quarterfinal, it is going to be his first time making it into semifinal. And if Bisu wins this best of 5 series, that is going to be his 4th time making it into semifinal. And we can also see their best of 5 series record. 0 wins, 1 loss for JYJ, 6 wins and 5 losses for Bisu. So Bisu definitely has more experience than JYJ here, but we know JYJ is one of the top term upcoming player. I would say he's playing really, really well.
Yeah, JYJ has done pretty well in the past few seasons. I guess specifically the last season, he's round of 16 was a little bit disappointing since he got round of 8 before that. But yeah, JYJ, he's fantastic, actually. He's somebody that's not really on a lot of people's radars at all. They're probably thinking like, wait, what? How did JYJ get here? Where are players like Rush? Well, they've already been eliminated.
Yeah,
But
we weren't expecting Rush would be getting eliminated like 3-0 in 1 hour.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that was extremely surprising. That was definitely not Rush's day. But at the same time, you got to give credit to Soma because when the game got very awkward, in an instant, he made a crucial decision, and it was the right decision in all 3 games. getting a look at the win rates, I think these are deceiving win rates. You see, it's only a 30% win rate versus Protoss, but only a few games, so I don't think that's entirely accurate or a good judge of JYJ's TVP skill.
I wonder where they got that record of the recent 10 games of his TPP, 4 wins and 6 losses. But still decent looking stats. People may think, oh, under 50% win rate, that's not a good player. But in competitive scene, I mean, almost to 50% win rate is definitely a good player, I would say. And Bisu, of course, he's having such a nice win rate of this PBT, and overall record is pretty darn it's looking good, decent.
Yeah, across the board, a 60% win rate, but you can see he doesn't play versus very many. Oh, I thought that was Terran at the top. He doesn't play versus very many Protosses. Actually, that's a ton of games versus Terran. And I think for a long time, Bisu's worst matchup was PVT, right? Like in 10 years ago at least. It seems like he's improved it quite a bit.
Yeah, Bisu, I know he's kind of adapting into the meta after taking some break. But I think he's done adjusting the meta and knows what he should be doing. And I wonder if Bisu is gonna be doing some like a speed shuttle playstyle like how Snow does, like constantly doing the Reaver micro until like even the game goes like the 30-minute long. Snow keeps using his Reaver. It's so disgusting. And even if you take down the Reaver, the next follow up is the High Templar that keeps storming in front of your Siege Tank and Vulture, and it's so annoying.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see constant shuttle play from Bisu, but of course, everybody knows Snow loves the shuttles. And in fact, if you guys want to see a recent Snow game on our Tosis' stream, he played versus him today. It's the last game of the day. You should check that out if you're interested. But oh man, this is going to be an exciting matchup. I'm so happy to see Bisu back. I really want to see if he's going to play the meta like you said, or if we'll see more old school Bisu. I think for a long time he liked carriers. Looks like players are ready. Let's get into the first game of the series. It's JYJ versus Bisu on Allegro.
알레그로에서 게임을 시작합니다.
So in the bottom right, our Terran player, it is JYJ. And in the top left, our white Protoss, you know who that is. That's Bisu. And I'm sure a lot of people here are wondering, wow, this map looks very familiar to what I see on the ladder, Largo. However, it's Allegro. So why don't you tell us a little bit of the differences between Largo and Allegro, Scan?
Largo on the ladder map pool, that has lots of like 2 ways of going uphill, like the 3, 6, 9, 12 o'clock. Like there's a 2-way of going towards the center line. And Allegro, because of those the high ground terrain that opponent can actually abuse, and it actually delays your unit movement, so they decided to cut off those terrain and makes it a little bit flat, or I should say flat, so they can go directly to opponent's natural here. And of course the center of the map, that's a high ground. You can also do some type of like a proxy building whatsoever. And Bisu has put down the pylon at the natural, and this is going to be a 10 gateway.
So we've got a forward gate. There's going to be some zealot pressure, and okay, that's a little bit farther forward than I was expecting the barracks to be. However, there's a little bit of a gap there for the second depot to be placed down if he needs to versus some incoming pressure. So JYJ is going to have a good SimCity. There's the 12 gas. It's not going to be an 11 gas. I'm not going to go for something aggressive, trying to shut down like a Nexus first opener. Now, curiously, in Bisu's main, no gas just yet, so this is going to be multiple zealots.
Okay, now the probe is coming from from north to south, and JYJ is going from south to north, and they will be meeting each other. And as soon as JYJ sees this probe, he should be realizing this cannot be Bisu cannot be located at the 7 o'clock location, because that's not the time of the probe comes before the factory timing. And as soon as he realized, oh, there's no Proudest building at 1 o'clock, then he should be immediately sending that SCV towards to 11 o'clock, and that's what he should be aiming. And let's check it out.
And that is a super fast factory from JYJ, a 228 factory in fact. A lot of players get around a 235 factory in TVP, so this is about 5 to 7 seconds faster than that. So his Vulture is going to be really at a great timing to help support these Marines. SCV comes in, sees the forward gate, didn't get a glimpse into the main, so he doesn't know how fast the cybernetics is, but I think that's... Oh, eBay block.
So I like this decision making, because Bisu should be realizing, oh, JYJ didn't go for Rex expansion, and there's a factory at the main base, so Bisu, most likely he's not going to be making the second Zealot into a super fast expansion, but that eBay rush, that will delay Bisu's expansion for a long time, and it might force Bisu to put down third pylon. And of course, yeah, there's a third pylon and the range upgrade on the way. 3 pylon into an expansion, that's a really old classic PvT build that no one really does in 2022. And look at that, JYJ started off with the command center first before Bisu's Nexus, and Bisu is in a little bit of a echo loss here.
Oh, he canceled the range, so it's going to be fast Reaver follow-up, or fast Robo follow-up, I assume. It could be, I guess, Citadel or something, but that would be extremely risky. First, Vulture are moving across the map looking for proxy shenanigans. Doesn't find it at bottom middle, and as you stated, JYJ in a fantastic position, not only having delayed the Nexus but forcing the additional pylon. Also, those 2 probes weren't mining because they were trying to kill the eBay a little bit faster. And now look at this, a 415 armory. That's extremely fast.
And there's some unit moving out center of the map, and JYJ is looking for some type of like a proxy building outside of his territory. And I like how he delayed his bunker as much as possible, but now he knows the Zealot and Dragoon is coming, so yeah, he will be making the bunker. But will the Marine come on time, or maybe he might just gonna picking up all of the army and sandwiching them from top to bottom. Okay, top and bottom. Okay, now
Yeah, Bisu needs to run.
Bisu is probably going to be able to pick up one of the Vulture, but does not have the range upgrade, so of course that Grun is going to be having such a short range to pick up that Vulture. And now JYJ is just going to be having that +1 attack. Already started. Oh, should be starting soon. Probably doesn't have enough resource yet, but he will be starting momentarily. And now those are the 3 Vultures. Whenever Terran skips the siege tank and make those 3 Vulture in the early stage and have this map control, JYJ is gonna be having lots of echo lead.
Yeah, now when that attack happened with the Vultures and Marines, not sure if JYJ noticed that range was missing. I also don't know if he could have had range by then, but it is something to note is that it wasn't there. So JYJ may think, okay, maybe he skipped range for something. We see support bay is coming down, so it is going to be the Reaver follow-up, and that's going to be a dead Dragoon. Doesn't even get a Vulture kill. That's somewhat of an expensive loss so far. You can see Armory is spinning, so +1 already on the way. I imagine that's an eBay at the top. I guess it could be a starport though. Maybe. I think that's highly unlikely, but I guess it could be possible.
Well, if JYJ didn't get any academy building before like 6-minute mark, then I would assume that might gonna be the eBay building above the refinery. And now Bisu finally got the observer. This is the shuttle observer into Reaver follow. There are multiple ways of going for the Reaver build. You go for pure observer into Reaver, or shuttle observer Reaver, or shuttle Reaver observer. And whenever Protoss is doing shuttle Reaver directly, that's the most greediest build you can do in PvT, because what if opponent goes for starport build and make a raid like how Shiny does, and you just instantly use your shuttle Reaver, and you're gonna be falling behind in the early stage. And Bisu does not want to lose his shuttle reaver in the early stage, so that's why he made a shuttle into observer to scout and get some information. And there are already missile turrets up.
Well, turret ring is up as you stated. Is that turret at the natural up? The answer is no, and that means that the observer is going to get in. And honestly, even if Protoss sees all this, there isn't really anything that tips Bisu off to, hey, this was a 4-minute armory. Unless +1 completes in just a second, which it could because we're approaching the moment where it would complete pretty soon. Starport is actually pretty darn late relative to the armory timing of JYJ, so he may have misstepped slightly in his build order. But first Reaver is moving across the map. You can see it moving to the right side, and third Nexus coming down.
Wow, that's a really fast Templar Archive I'm seeing at the 7-minute 50-second. And yeah, like how JYJ started off with 420 armory, and that starport is really fast, so he's definitely aiming for this 2 base 2-1 follow-up. And I know he's type of the player who kind of likes to stay on 2 base and rushing for 2-1 upgrade and slowly getting his third expansion. He's probably gonna get the dropship follow-up. Okay, there's a speed shot already done at 8-minute mark, so I find this is not a good build for Bisu because that speed shuttle was done at the same time when the third Nexus just completes. So that means Bisu spent all those early money for the speed shuttle before the third Nexus.
Yeah, he did. However, he's going into Templar and Forge, and you know, he got it relatively quickly, so it seems like he's skipping on units to kind of catch back up in his tech. So I think, and Nexus timing, so I think it's okay. We see fourth factory coming down. Oh, well, this is not okay. 2 Vultures going to run into the natural. They already picked off 3 probes at the third base. 3 are already down 4, and this game is starting to snowball in JYJ's favor. 5, 6, soon to be 7, and if this is going to be the 2 base 7 fact timing with 2-1, this would be extremely strong versus what Bisu's doing.
Yeah, like
the dropship too.
Yeah, so SK like people who are actually did some lots of training from SK Telecom, they really love to use dropship for some reason, and it's kind of like their trademark, I suppose, like how Fantasy was using his dropship and the Vulture, and that's what I can see from JYJ here. We can see like the second generation of Fantasy from JYJ here using the dropship, Vultures moving out and getting some map control here. And I think that dropship is does not have any unit loaded up, so those center vultures probably gonna be meeting up at the 9 o'clock and pick it up.
This is gonna be multi-prong attack. I think Reaver into main and Storm drop at the natural, because the first Templar was already out for Bisu when the Vultures ran into the Nat. So when the game gets crazy with this drop, he may try and send it in. Oh, that pylon wall keeps the Dragoons out, and that's going to shut down the third base. Meanwhile, drop into the main at the same time.
This harassment is fantastic by JYJ because look at that supply. I mean, Bisu, okay, there's going to be the counter drop at the same time, but will JYJ respawn at the same respawn? No, he won't be, but that storm drop didn't hurt him so much.
Yeah, he missed it by like,
oh
what?
My God.
Half a centimeter, missing those SCVs, and that single Vulture by itself has 8 kills, and Bisu didn't realize that it was a full pylon wall until just now, so he has lost a ton of workers. And look at the supply, you can see it already reflected for JYJ. He's even versus Bisu.
Yeah, I think that was a bad decision making for Bisu, having a complete wall after his third expansion. And now, I didn't check how fast the fourth Nexus is, but judging by the supply count right now, Bisu versus JYJ in this game scenario, we know JYJ got his the 2-1 upgrade really fast. Okay, that's a shuttle, 1 High Templar. Okay.
He doesn't even get a single SCV there, and these are expensive drops. Very, very gas intensive Templars to be lost. He lost 2 at the natural, he just lost a third one. That one may have even had the Reaver in it. because really Reaver is ridiculously hard to control in the mid game, so it wouldn't even really surprise me if he lost the Reaver there. Meanwhile, JYJ, the original opener, I thought it was going to be a 3-2 style because a lot of Terrans sit and wait until 3-2, but he's already got 2-1, and he is factory flooding right now.
Yeah, that 2-1 upgrade just got kicked in at 12-minute mark, so this is going to be a fantastic position for JYJ. He does have 500 Vespene gas, but there's a second shuttle or third shuttle coming in. This time he did respawn, picking up only a single SCV. Nicely pulled those SCV to save them. And I like how JYJ left up those 2 tanks at his natural to defend the storm drop. And next time I'll be trying it out in the future on ladder or maybe spawn matches here. And now the supply count is 143 versus 143. This is definitely not looking good for Protoss, because you're supposed to be maxed at 11-minute mark, 12-minute mark for Protoss, but you're at 150 supply. Bisu, you are in a big trouble here.
Oh, did he see the drop? He didn't! Look at his camera, he's not looking at all! And 2 vultures gonna hit this mineral line again. Now I wanted to ask you, we see Bisu going for the constant harass with the Storm and the Templars. Do you think this is his way back into the game? Because so far he's not having success. Should he have saved them for an incoming push?
Well, I think he's just in a... I don't know, I guess he wants to harass JYJ as much as he can, but all those 3 drop that he did, maybe he just got maximum 5 SCB, and it didn't really do anything. And I'm pretty sure JYJ already started a 3-2 upgrade on the way, so that means JYJ is just probably gonna be waiting until those 3-2 upgrade. And okay, there's already on location 4th command center at the 6 o'clock. I didn't know because the color was so similar to the mineral color, the mineral field color, so I didn't know there was a 4th command center, but there is. JYJ just gonna be keep defending this High Templar Storm Drop. Okay, this Storm Drop does get a lot of SCV, but that's not gonna be that much of a hurting JYJ for the late game potential here.
Yeah, it was much better this time, but he's already got 4 command centers, so how much pain does that really cause JYJ? And what I've really been looking at here is, did you see that gateway count? It's only at 8 right now, because he's spending so much money on these shuttles. I mean, he's already built like 7 of them, and he's only had really 1 successful drop. Now, because JYJ got +1 weapon so fast, actually +3 should be kicking in any moment now, and you can see he's approaching 200 supply, so this is going to be lining up perfectly. If Bisu does not storm well on this first attack, I think JYJ's econ is just too powerful and his production is too powerful, and will simply just overrun Bisu with the powerful upgrades.
Yeah, I think the third +3 attack upgrade is about like a 202 seconds, so that's about 3 minutes and 20 seconds for the third upgrade. So that means he got that 2-1 upgrade at the 12-minute mark, so that means at this 15-minute 30 seconds long of the game, I think JYJ will have this +3 attack in next couple seconds, or maybe even he has it. I want to see whether he has the +3 attack upgrade. And Bisu has to trade off this army before the +3 attack kicks in. +3 is done.
But Bisu's power spike of +2 just kicked in, so he's probably thinking, okay, this is my moment. But what he doesn't know is it's +3 versus +2, not +2 versus +2. Shuttles run in, and I see one storm. He didn't use his storms very well. Luckily, I would say a lot of the tanks of JYJ are out of position, but still, Bisu's army is getting devastated by the low tank count regardless. Goons and Zealots are going to run into the 4th base, but there's just not enough of them.
Yeah, the supply count is now totally thrown off for Bisu. That JYJ, I mean, both of the expansion, same amount of expansion they right now have. JYJ has 1 less expansion, but doesn't really matter as for Terran as long as they have such a nice upgrade here. And this supply lead with the 3-2 upgrade, Bisu, what other techs do you have besides Storm?
He doesn't have any other tech. He doesn't even have the gateway count. Like I said, he has 9 gates. Terran players are not scared of 9 gates. If it was 19 gates, maybe they're scared of it, with 15 in the main and 4 or 5 at another location. But to have all the production in the main, JYJ knows there's no other base at another main because he's got mines all over the place, and he's basically even in bases. It's 4 versus 5. This is a fantastic position for JYJ. I would say the one thing I'm noticing he doesn't have is there's no Vestal for EMP at all. However, his tank count is massively high.
Yes, and that is correct. JYJ has his third gas available at 6 o'clock, so he's probably gotten the third machine shop to have more tank production. And I think JYJ is still not ready to move out because he's kind of scared of the storm that can also change the game, flip the table around. So he's just trying to secure this game with the vulture harassment. Okay, he will be picking up 1 High Templar, 2 High Templar, maybe even 3rd. Okay, I guess he will be picking up some probe.
JYJ has done such a good job with these vultures, and there's like no movement from the vulture that's like overextended. Like, he's laying mines, he pokes in for the Templar, but as soon as the Templar blows his storm, he doesn't feel obligated to go kill it because he knows this guy doesn't have energy anymore. So nicely done from JYJ to not overextend there, and he's macroing behind it. He's max now, 197. Meanwhile, Bisu is max, but again, his comp, it's just not going to beat the comp of JYJ. Oh my god, these mine connections, look at them.
That spider mine did just like 1,000 damage on those Gun and Zala.
Yeah.
I think JYJ probably once he has about 2 groups of C-Stank, that's about 24 C-Stank. But I don't think JYJ is ready to fight, but okay, he's going to be having some position here. Picking up some Observer at the center of the map, nicely done, clearing some vision. And that's a floating building at the 3 o'clock, so that must be the science facility that he just sent earlier. I saw he had the 5th command center.
Yeah, he's got it at his mineral only, waiting to float it to mid-right. We see that there's a few units blocking mid-right. But JYJ, he's stabilizing in the center. He has a lot of units there. He actually has a lot of units at his rally point also. So he needs to be careful that when he attacks, he doesn't forget about them. Also, there's a lot of tanks on the left side. There's 6 there. So a lot of supply spread out across the map. It looks like JYJ is content with defending. And again, Bisu feels obligated to go for an attack, but he's just losing so many units. Templar unload. It's just 2 instantly EMP'd. Perfection from JYJ. A double EMP even. And this attack, look at it, scan. Maxed out still for JYJ. Meanwhile, a 130. His whole army got decimated.
Yeah, this is just gonna be the go time for JYJ. I mean, that giant fight in the 6 o'clock expansion, JYJ just won that fight. And those center, one group of vultures at the center of the map, they are just keep constantly putting some spider mines to like contain Bisu. He didn't actually contain him yet, but those spider mines, it takes time for Bisu to clear them. And now JYJ moving forward, he's gonna be start abusing the terrain. Okay, there are 2 C-Stank on a high ground, and that takes forever for Protoss to clear those 2 tanks. And he's just gonna be keep moving forward. And High Templar, do you have energy?
He does. He even splits the tanks. So basically, the storms don't even connect. He can just A-move this. He has so much right now. The spread is fantastic. The vulture play, the tank play has been fantastic all day long. He eats a bit of storm there, but doesn't matter. He's up 80 supply. GG comes out. And what a fantastic play from JYJ there. That was absolutely amazing.
Oh, I'm not sure what's really wrong about Bisu because remember back then, like before he did his military service, he's one of the Protoss player really loved to go for like 11-minute 200 supply with the 1 stasis field arbiter and busting Terran's natural. That was his like the what's it called, like his play style in the past, but he's trying to adjust his High Templar, Speed Shuttle, High Templar, Storm Drop, and the Reaver Harassment, but I don't know what he's exactly doing in that game, number 1. I mean, all those drop harassment didn't work. Everything didn't work out for him.
Yeah, literally nothing worked out for him. And as I stated, the gateway count was just non-existent because every single shuttle is even more expensive than a gateway. And we're looking at the highlight. I mean, this EMP It's a double EMP even. Look at it. He gets off one storm, then he gets EMP'd again right there. He hits all of the Templars. Absolutely perfect play. And Bisu, I mean, look at the supply. This is Bisu also. He has perfect macro most of the time. So he loses his whole army. And look how much he macroed back up. He was at 114 and he goes up to 130. I mean, Terran's not afraid of any Protoss who only remacros sub 20 supply after a fight.
I may, I might be able to understand why JYJ said if he wins his first game, it is going to be 3-0 easily of this best of 5 series, because on Allegro, the way how JYJ played it with the 4-minute 20 armory build, that's how you're supposed to be played on Eclipse, because you cannot do anything against Protoss on Eclipse. You just I mean, you know how Protoss can take third base with just 2 guns. Okay, we are going to be coming back after the commercial break. We'll talk about it later.
Oh, are we back already? Okay. Commercial ended abruptly right there.
Wait, I was
I
checking my phone message, but I guess we're already back here.
yeah. I They must have something planned, some type of advertisement, I'm assuming. Maybe we're going to go into game 2, but game 1, that was absolutely soul crushing from JYJ. Nothing went well for Bisu. And I mean, that's what happens sometimes when you play the shuttle man style. It can be exceptionally strong, but when it gets shut down left and right, you can see how poorly it transitions into the late game. And I have to say, my experience versus shuttle man like this, it's really hard to keep up with. But JYJ, oh wait, what?
I guess we are going to be
Okay.
going back to the commercial here. But this time we don't have the countdown, so we're not sure about it.
Okay, now we are back. We'll be going into game 2 momentarily. As I was stating before we got that second break, a lot of Terrans struggle even just defending the storm drops. Like, it's hard enough to deal with mass shuttle man, but not only was JYJ perfectly defending it, he's also harassing with the vultures. You saw him do drops, you saw him lay mines everywhere, pick off Templars, pick off stray zealots. I mean, this was probably the best defense in reaction to mass shuttle man that I've ever really seen. And I think Bisu just has to completely change his style now because that did not work at all.
That is definitely definitely true. What he just stated about the game number 1. So I would like to see him playing some arbiter. That's just the one of the he was the one of the proudest player back then. Really good at 11-minute 200 supply with a single arbiter and going for the stasis field buff. And it looks like players are ready. We're gonna be moving to game number 2, JYJ versus Bisu on Eclipse.
이클립스에서 게임을 시작합니다.
So in the bottom left, up 1-0, it is JYJ, and in the top right, our green Protoss down 0-1. It is Bisu. Now, before we got into this game, you were talking about how you can see why JYJ is feeling confident after he wins game 1. And you have, obviously, a lot of experience on Eclipse. Why do you think the 3-2 style is so good here?
Well, like I said, Protoss can just immediately go for 2 goons into 3 nexus, like 5-minute 3 nexus, and you can't really do anything about it as Terran. After getting the gas stolen, and Protoss really good at just being greedy in the early stage, like we can see from Bisu already doing the wait, what? Why did the probe stop at the center of at the natural? But yeah, he's gonna be going for the probe scout and go. Most likely it will be the gas steal. That's what the purpose of sending out the probe in the early stage like this. And judging by the pylon location, I have a feeling this is going to be gas steal into Nexus first.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's crazy how a single pylon placement can tell you what's going to unfold 30 seconds later. Oh my, is he gonna buy time for this? Okay, no, he's not gonna have the money even though he bought about 5 seconds extra time. You'd see he was pretty close. He needed about maybe 1 or 2 more cycles from the SCVs.
Oh.
And he wouldn't.
Yeah, I think I know what the purpose of JYJ's plan here. So he's gonna be letting the gas steal for Bisu, and he's just gonna be immediately assuming, oh yeah, you're gonna steal my gas? I know this is going to be the gas steal into a Nexus first, so I'm gonna be sending out this SCV so fast, and I'll be doing the eBay rush.
Oh, what a genius! And that's exactly what we see. Because look at this. Bisu responds with a delayed gate because he knows that this is what's going to happen. He already... Oh, is he going to kill that?
He might be able to, but okay, we are not going to be seeing some eBay. He's trying to put down the eBay.
He wants that probe so badly.
Oh, he got it!
Oh, that's not something you see every day. An SCV beating a probe, even though it has more health. Oh my gosh. I didn't see if Bisu had a reaction there, but I'm sure he's tilted about that.
Yeah, JYJ is one of the Terran players who's really good at this SCV micro. Just like how Snow, Soma, Larva does the worker micro the whole time and annoy them as much as possible. And now JYJ immediately gonna be going for the expansion because he knows the Nexus is really fast. Yeah, there is a command center.
So right now I have Eclipse vetoed because of builds like this, but I'll have to rewatch this VOD and find out this SCV timing and start maybe putting Eclipse back into my map pool because this was fantastic. Now, first Zealot is going to be moving out. Actually, first Marine's going to come out. He doesn't realize that the gate was built pretty fast after the initial scout, and now seeing the Zealot, he is... Oh, I thought he was going to back off, but he's going to try and harass this mineral line, maybe?
Well, Not sure what exactly they're aiming for, but JYJ finally taking down the gas at the main base. So that's 3 minute 35 seconds gas. I find that gas is really slow, but maybe JYJ has some plan about this. He's gonna be heavily working on this mineral only base unit to deal against this early stage of the Zealot. Okay, one Marine, dangerously low, but you lift up your barracks. I don't know whether this is gonna be a good decision making to lift up your barracks, but nice micro so far.
The split was pretty good, but the lack of SimCity, man, JYJ had a fantastic opener, and now it's kind of slipping away. The Zealot gets on top of all of Marines, and it's painful. It's 2 Zealots versus a single Marine. The SCV even dies at the bunker. And scan, everything is going so wrong for JYJ now.
Yeah, that one single SCV, dangerously low HP, and those Zealots are just pretty much picking up the SCV one by one. That's gonna be the SCV drill. Gotta have some luck on here. Really be able to surround one of the Zealot or maybe or whatnot. But somehow he managed to defend without taking so much of a big damage. But making more than 4 Marine, it kinda hurts already. Wait, what is that building?
Oh, Citadel, man. So this is going to be a fast DT follow-up. If JYJ skips on whoa, what's that? Is that going to be Proxy Starport?
Well, quite not sure.
Does he even have a factory?
Yeah, he did put down the factory at the main base. So okay, there's an SCV finally moving out. Refinery. Yeah, I don't think he can do any sort of a proxy building at this moment.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what his actual factory timing is, and we can see, well, it just started. Meanwhile, this is going to be DT follow-up, gas at the natural, which means that this could be potentially like fast Stargate follow-up. eBay block coming down at the third base. I wonder if JYJ is thinking, this is a bit weird. You don't have a third Nexus after dealing all that damage, but maybe it's just a little bit too quick for that. We are only at the 540 mark.
Yeah, that I say we try to buy some time as much as you can, but now the eBay will just buy some time. Okay, that's an armory. Kinda late armory, I would say. 6-minute armory and a 6-minute eBay, but Templar Archive should be done by now. And JYJ should be feeling something awkward. I mean, okay, he sees the Stargate, but what kind of products actually shows their Stargate at the natural like this with the scouting SCV? Okay, there's 2 Dark Templars were moving out, but does he know about it?
I don't think he does. eBay is about to finish though, but turret takes what is it, 25 seconds, 20 seconds, something like that, and the DTs are already halfway across the map. I think this game could be game over in just a second. The SimCity is fantastic though. It's going to be hard to get through into the main, but he needs turrets right now.
Yeah, that turret still didn't even start at the natural, so I think JYJ probably gonna be immediately tapping out as soon as he sees the Dark Temper. Probably not gonna be even thinking to try out this game. Or maybe he will be? I guess he wants to keep playing this game. But this Dark Templar harassment is just doing so much of a damage. And we have seen, oh my god, he let the DT get in.
Well, he's doing a good job to try and body block the DT while also not losing the tank. But one of the DTs gets onto the tank and it falls down. Now Bisu can run by, maybe? Well, he does not run by, actually. And all of a sudden, JYJ has actually... Oh, no, he hasn't. There's 2 more DTs at the natural. I thought he killed them all off. And that means that the Nat is going to be shut down completely. And behind this...
Yeah, this... I don't think he even has a range upgrade. The siege mode upgrade. And yeah, of course, Bisu... This is his playstyle, like Arbiter into 11 minute 200 supply max. And yeah, now I guess he just doesn't want to try out his Space Shuttle meta. He's just gonna be doing his own playstyle with the Arbiter follow-up. And this DT just did tons of damage. I don't know how JYJ is gonna be recovering from this game. I mean, this is double amount of supply count right now Bisu has.
Yeah, I'm sure JYJ knows the game's probably over, but he wants to make Bisu at least work for it, not just give him, a free win here. And DT gets taken down, but I mean, you can see there's one DT still left over. It's only 47 supply versus 90. 6 gate versus actually it's 3 factories because JYJ canceled one of his factories and Arbiter's coming.
Yeah, and he also used one of the comp station earlier to pick up the Dark Templar at the natural, so the moment when JYJ moves out with this 6 tank with the vulture production, this is just gonna be pain in the ass. And this is a high ground. High ground. Okay, he doesn't get to see those Gun on the high ground, but Guns are gonna be fighting. This is a high ground Gun against the siege tank, pure siege tank.
Yeah, Goons are like, hello, I'll just pick those 2 off and walk away. There's still 4 tanks left over, so damage output is decent for JYJ, but JYJ sees the bad news right there that, hey, that's not even the entire army, not even close to it. There's about 30 more supply back at the main, and he's going to be denied. I actually feel like JYJ kind of, even though he cannot win any fight, has to attack, because as soon as the Arbiter comes out, this is just going to be an unstoppable force.
Yeah, JYJ has the +1 attack kicked in, but there's something building going up at the main base of JYJ. I wonder that is going to be either the Starcraft follow-up or the 3rd command center. But Arbiter is already out, and Bisu is aiming to get 3 base 200 max supply army, I would say. I mean, does he even have a robotic facility? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think he has a robotics. It was straight DT, straight Arbiter into 3 base. Maybe the Observer will be coming in a few seconds now that he's gotten all his tech up and running and now that he's also gotten his gateway production. JYJ's actually trying to transition this into a real game. He's got a science facility, he's got his upgrades coming, but it's just a 70 supply gap already, and it's only the 10-minute mark.
The thing about this late Observer build right now Bisu is doing, yeah, he's probably not going to be interested of taking the 4th base. He's just going to be a move with all of his army, and like I said, 1 stasis field and busting opponent's natural. That's his classic of the way Bisu really loves to play, and he's making it out, and he's about to go for the attack move here, but only 4 tanks okay, 6 tanks total. I don't think this is going to be enough.
Yeah, it's just not enough Terran. There's not enough mine set up. Okay, there's the stasis and just instantly taps out. So nice recovery from Bisu here to tie the series up 1-1. But I have to say, JYJ looked fantastic in the early game until the Sim City was not set up at the natural. That was really just the downfall of him.
Yeah, I think he missed the opportunity of seeing the Zala moving out, the first Zala moving out, and he misread the information that Bisu went for the Nexus first before the gateway, and just things just started to fall apart because of the single Zala and the probe harassment at the natural earlier. And JYJ is probably going to take a look at the replay, what he did wrong and what he read the game wrong, and hopefully he makes some comeback in game number 3, because it's his choice, Monopoly.
Yeah, Monopoly and the games I've seen of TVP have been pretty good for Terran, actually. Like, they have devastating pushes when they actually push. But Bisu getting on the board with his classic maneuver is going to probably give him a sigh of relief going into Game 3. And this is where it all went wrong. He does not expect this attack coming at all. You can tell he thought it was just a probe, and it's like, oh, hello, there's a Zealot here. No SimCity at all. Rax's floating is so painful to watch.
Yeah, he's immediately putting down the bunker from that SCV that was constructing the command center, and that single Zealot just did so much of the damage.
Yeah, and at the pro level like this, a single move can end the game, and you saw it right here. Just devastating amounts of damage. Obviously, this did not end the game outright. The DT follow-up is what did it, really. And, I mean, he racked up like 5 SCV kills with the Zealots, too. I mean, it's just insane damage.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what JYJ is going to be doing on a Monopoly, because It's a map that you can use dropship so often, or there's a lot of space to unload your vulture.
Yeah, and also with that middle base being an island, drops could come into play. But we're going to be going into a break, and then we'll be back with Game 3 in just a second. No, we will not. We're going into the Hot 6 scan.
Okay, that is going to be the Hot 6. Hot 6 commercial here. Energy. Must be the energy for the sports drink. So, talking about this game number 2 on the Eclipse. JYJ was on such a good spot, like picking up the single pro with the scouting SCB, and he didn't let Bisu to go for 14 Nexus after the gas steal. So that kind of ruined the tempo for Bisu to put down the gateway first into a Nexus first, a Nexus later, and I kind of find him like why he didn't put down the bunker immediately as soon as he had enough resource, but I guess he just wanted to be a bit greedy there and just started to fall apart.
Yeah, I think even though JYJ lost that game, after he watches the replay, he's going to see like, oh, okay, I just made this tiny mistake. And if I hadn't, I mean, you think about what he opened with. He went for the fast scout for the eBay block, like you said. He killed a probe. I mean, up until the Zealots moved across the map, it felt like JYJ was just a step ahead throughout everything we've seen so far. So I wouldn't feel too bad for JYJ, or I would, if I was JYJ, I wouldn't feel too bad about, how that game, or wouldn't feel too down on myself because I think he should feel confident going into Game 3, especially since he has picked Monopoly. Now, I was talking about how I thought you had said you didn't like Monopoly, but apparently that was TVZ. But TVP, a lot of, well, actually, why do you like Monopoly TVP?
Why do I not like, or
No, why do you like?
why do
Or
I
why do
like
you?
why do I like
Yeah.
about Monopoly? Because the rush distance is kind of short, and of course, if the rush distance from natural to natural, the shorter it is, it's much easier for Terran to execute the Nexus first build. Like think about Fighting Spirit. From natural to natural, Zerg players are always scared of the T-Rex Academy rush because the distance is so short that they have to put down the Sunken Colony
Hmm.
earlier before the Mutalisk pops out. And same thing for Monopoly because of the rush distance is so short that Protoss cannot go for the 12 Nexus build against Terran. And you can do lots of mind game because of that. Since the rush distance is so short, probably gonna be forcing Protoss to go for Cybernetics core build, and Terran goes for the Rex expansion. Then automatically Terran's gonna be start off with the Rex expansion lead in the early stage, and Protoss starts off with the Cybernetics core, and they cannot do anything about it.
It's funny to hear that you're talking about the rush distances being so close, and then I hear Rax expand from Terran, because to me, I would not be Rax expanding if a guy is going to get to my base much faster, but you seem to think that we might see that?
There's some possibility because you can have some. I mean, not like these days, Terran player have such a nice SimCity all the time at their natural. Well, I should say the new maps are kind of easy to have some map the SimCity for the natural and have an easier way of blocking those Zala aggression in early stage, and Terran player has been improving and studying up this Rex expansion playstyle. Like, okay, yeah, you were planning to go for the Rex expansion, but then Protoss comes with the Probe Scout in the early stage, then you immediately switch to what's it called? Gas expand? Like you put down the
Yeah.
refinery, but you skip your factory and then start still maintaining your plan and go for the CC first, and Protoss is kind of screwed.
We're back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've got a tied series 1-1. Our next map is going to be Monopoly, but of course we've got the advertisement.
계십니다. 두 개의 세트 만나보셨는데요. 세트 스코어
So we have
먼저
seen those early
살펴보겠습니다.
two games.
첫 번째 세트
Allegro,
알레그로에서는
JYJ
정영재
shows such a
선수가
nice
다채로운
performance with the
골
super fast
던져서
upgrade,
또 촘촘한 수비까지 보여주면서
and he also
압도하는
defended
승리를
really well
가져왔습니다.
against those
하지만 두
Bisu's
번째 세트
harassment.
김태경 선수가
Storm
질럿
drop, river
견제함으로
drop,
다크로
everything
상대를
didn't work out so well
세트
for
스코어는
Bisu.
1대1로
And
팽팽한
Bisu
상황입니다. 계속해서 이벤트까지
paying back
함께
with the
살펴보시죠.
Zala rotating
자, 먼저
to this
ASL
other center of the
명장면
map
유저 클립으로 남겨라라는
and
이벤트인데요.
hurt
라이브
JYJ
시청
so much in the early
명장면을 유저
stage,
클립으로
and
남겨주시면
now the
두 분을
score is tied up to
추첨해서
1-1,
ASL
and
카드가
we are also
보내드리도록
having these
하겠습니다.
ASL
승부
Season
예측
13
이벤트
event.
계속해서 진행 중입니다.
Leaving the
투표를
highlight video
정답
scene with the
추첨해서
user
ASL
video
순위가
clip,
쓰기를
and
보내드리도록
people who are
하겠습니다.
making some nice highlight video,
그리고
you will
오늘
get the
아프리카
ASL
TV
card
e스포츠
wallet,
페이지에
and there's
송도
also the
예측
winner's
서비스가
prediction.
새롭게
People who are
오픈했습니다.
getting the winner's
아프리카
prediction
TV에서
correct,
출석
then
혜택,
you are
보내주신
getting
분들과
the ASL
댓글을
mini humidifier,
작성하시는 퀘스트
and that looks like Africa
정립한
TV esports
재미라는
page.
포인트를 활용해서
They
ASL을 비롯해
are,
다양한 e스포츠 리그의 승부 예측 그리고
I guess that's kind of like some type of like a
경품에
betting that they
응모하실 수 있는
have on
앞으로
the esports
펼쳐지는 ASL의 승부
page on
예측은
Africa TV.
아프리카 TV
So that's a
e스포츠
winner's
페이지를
prediction
통해
service.
펼쳐진다고 합니다.
You can
여러분의
also
많은
take a look
참여를
on there.
기다리고
They got the
있겠습니다.
ASL event and LCK, that's for the League of
세계
Legends.
첫 4강 진출을 노리는 정영재 선수.
And JYJ, he's the player who's first time,
김태경 선수.
if he wins this best of 5 series, he's going to be
과연
his first time to
어떤
make it
선수가
into semi-final. That's his main goal of this season. And what we were going to be wondering about whether JYJ will be making it to semi-final or not.
Yeah, of course, as a Terran, I want to see JYJ make it in, but also want to see Bisu make it in, so a bit conflicted here. But this map, it's game 3. This is the most critical map, I would say. It's going to put someone up 2-1, and then we've got two very tough maps, I would say, for both races. Revolver going to be map 4, and then Metaverse going to be map 5. And we know that there's all types of stuff that can happen on Metaverse. I mean, yesterday was proof of that. That was a wild build from Action. So very critical that both players get a win here.
Well, thinking of JYJ's place of his TVP, I always see him often go for one factory armory, so I have a feeling he's probably going to be most likely doing the same build once again, just like how he played on Allegro. Maybe he might start off with the Rex expand or maybe even factory expansion, but that's just a normal opening for Terran anyways, and we have to take a look on Bisu's build order as well too, because this is a 3-player map, but you can still change this map into a 2-player map like an Eclipse with the Pylon Scout. And I guess players are ready. We'll be moving into game number 3. JYJ versus Bisu on Monopoly.
모노폴리에서 게임을 시작합니다.
In the top left, in the blue, it is JYJ, and meanwhile, in the bottom left, our red Protoss, it is Bisu. Now, really, I'm more curious about Bisu's playstyle here than I am JYJ's, and I say that because mains of Monopoly are pretty darn big. Shuttleman is pretty common on this map, but we already saw JYJ just absolutely obliterate Shuttleman. So I'm wondering if Bisu's going to try it out again here, or if he's going to try and go into a more normal play. I think he needs to play more normal play just simply because of how well JYJ crushed it on the Allegro map.
And the earlier statement where I was saying about the Pylon Scout on a 3-player map. Sometimes if you have some nice luck with the Lucky Scout, like how Ruin often does, if you're doing the Pylon Scout and have some nice Lucky Scout and finding the opponent with the first Scout, then you can still go for the gas steal. But I guess Bisu is not interested of doing it. He will be putting down the Pylon and not want to go for the Scout. Is this going to be the Gateway Scout? No. And of course he won't be taking a risk and go for... He's not going to be taking a risk going for the 12 Nexus build, and we are seeing JYJ moving out. Okay, I thought it was going to be the natural barracks, but never mind.
Yeah, I also thought it was going to be the natural barracks, simply because obviously the SCV is moving up, but also because of what you were talking about. Now we're going to have another 12 gas opener, not going to be an 11 gas or any pressure-based build. Meanwhile, gas follow-up from Bisu, so it's not going to be early zealots this time around.
Okay, this is a standard so far for both players, and like I said, this is a cybernetic score opening. And because of the early stage, you cannot do the 12 Nexus build just like Eclipse. Of course, if JYJ has gone for the Rex expansion, but that would have been a great game scenario. But I guess he didn't want it to take a risk of dealing against Pylon Scout, so I guess he wants to play safe just like usual. That's his strong, or I should say his strong part of the game opening, I would say. He's really loved to go for factory expand.
Well, we are going to have pressure play because a single zealot was built. Cybernetics was not delayed at all, so this may be a zealot goon combo. Meanwhile, JYJ has pulled off of gas as expected, and Probe does find him in the first position. And okay, I was wondering if that was a full block onto the ramp with the depot. Not the case, so Probe can slip in through that side. Zealot, of course, also. And JYJ missed the zealot, so he needs to make sure that he does not cut Marines here. Oh, what's that mid left? Is that a pylon?
Yeah, that's a pylon he made at the mid left while he's sending a scouting probe. And now JYJ did not confirm how many pylons there are at Bisu's main base, but he will be just... Oh, look at that! Immediately putting down the bunker instantly. So I guess he wants to be playing safe, but... Oh, Bisu is doing some mind game here too. I guess he wants to... Oh, did he see the bunker? Maybe he did see the bunker,
No.
so... He didn't?
I don't think he did. The zealot was off to the side. This was a good read from JYJ to put down that bunker, because playing versus this particular opener is so hard. When you expect it to just be one goon and then all of a sudden another zealot shows up, it's insanely hard to defend. And that is an extremely fast robo. This was like a 330 robo, so this is probably going to be super fast reaver play. Is that a starport?
Oh, this is going to be the Starport follow-up, but Bisu is not playing center. He skipped all of his upgrade. He didn't get the range upgrade before the Nexus. He didn't get the range upgrade after the Nexus either. This is he skipped everything. He skipped the range upgrade the whole time to put down the Nexus and the robotic facility. So that robotic facility is about 30 seconds faster than usual. And because of that super fast robotic facility right now, he's getting this dropship play that JYJ wants to do. I'm not sure how much he's gonna be actually pay him off with the dropship play.
Yeah, and he also doesn't know about that pylon on the left side, and if you look at it, it would intercept instantly a dropship play. So, cute placement from the pylon, nice move there from Bisu. He goes straight into observatory. I'm a little surprised to see that, but of course these players have history. They play versus each other a lot, I'm sure, and this might just be a blind counter to what JYJ is doing with the dropship move.
Yeah, those spider mines are now on location for the third expansion. And Bisu, he has those vision on the left side, but does not have the vision on the right side. So he might want to put some pylon on the right side to see whether the dropship is coming from the right side or whatnot. But once that vulture sees the pylon on the left, probably JYJ will be sending that dropship directly to the 6 o'clock location to drop from there. Okay, there's the observer finally moving out.
Yep, and the observer is going to basically get to JYJ's main essentially as the vulture is moving out, and he does not see the pylon at all. This is painful for JYJ fans, and Bisu fans should feel ecstatic because this drop should do no damage. Rain should be kicking in, and he has all the time in the world to see this coming. Oh, actually,
Ooh.
oh, that's a nice move. Unloads a couple of them and moves into the natural. And actually, there's not that much defense there. He racks up 2 kills. He's still... Oh, he does not commit into the main. He gets 3 kills. Soon to be 4 kills. That's a fantastic drop.
Yeah, I like how he didn't unload full vultures, like full 4 vultures for the harassment. But that 2 vulture did pay him off so well. I mean, he did pick up about 5 workers with the 2 vultures, so it did pay him off. And now he still has the map control with the spider mine at the center of the map. And he does have the second factory going up, but I haven't seen there's an armory going up or whatnot. But Bisu does not have his 3rd expansion in this 6-minute or almost a 7-minute long of the game. So Bisu, I guess he's just gonna be rushing for 2 base Arbiter.
Yeah, it's 2 base Arbiter, Stargate, and Templar Archive go down at the same time. Armory, I think, completed about 30 seconds ago for JYJ, so he is going into his upgrades. Meanwhile, did he just scan and see that there's nothing at the natural? He unloads there, and he's going to get a couple more probe kills. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. This drop did, like, what, 9 to 10 probe kills, and Bisu scouted it, so this was devastating damage on a drop that really shouldn't have gotten many kills at all.
This is just not looking great for Bisu because he has been just staying on this 2 base macro for the whole time. He does have all the, I mean, he went for the super fast robotic facility to scout what exactly JYJ was doing. He knows there was a dropship like spotted at the 9 o'clock with the pylon, and he lost 10 worker by the 4 vulture harassment. And now the supply is not that much of a big differences, and JYJ is just working on this 2 base 2-1 upgrade on the way versus 2 base Prada's Arbiter. Not gonna be looking great, I would say.
Yeah, and another drop may be coming in just a second. A big mine hits 2 of the Dragoons. That dropship did not get repaired though, so he's got to be careful to avoid goons. Otherwise, oh yeah, like right here, he might just instantly lose it. He's got to turn around, and that's exactly what he does. But will he get intercepted by these 3 goons? The answer is no. It is going to get away. Not sure if the dropship saw the trailing probe, but he may have. And Bisu's going to put down a 3rd Nexus at bottom middle.
Yeah, more gateway being thrown down, and first scan goes off to see how fast the Arbiter is. JYJ knows about this is a super fast Arbiter. Okay, now there is a science facility with the double second armory, and this is a typical, or this is how usually JYJ often plays. And I wonder what that unit is at the 3rd expansion of JYJ. Is that an SCV on location to put down the command center immediately? Holy crap.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he killed 10 probes. He knows this guy is a rushing Arbiter, and he's keeping Bisu back with the dropship play, so he feels confident to put down an on-location command center. It's a bit ballsy. You got to have a really good read on the game. And 4 goons are going to cancel the SCV for now, but there's 7 tanks here, so he's not going to actually cancel the command center.
Yeah, vultures are trying to have some map control at the left side of the map, and the right side, of course, sieging and putting some barracks and some buildings more there to deny any sort of a harassment by the gun. And we hear double scan goes off, main and the natural at the same time. He sees the probe being transferred, but I don't think he's gonna be able to pick any up probe there. Okay, there's a dropship still.
Yeah, but it's super low. Look at it. It's at 55 health. However, remember the Allegro game, he walled off the 3rd base with pylons. This time around, he hasn't done it just yet, and he moves in right as the probes get transferred. It's so painful to watch. And there are 4 vultures in here. There's going to be 2 more unloaded into the main. Can he unload at all? He does get off one of them at least. Shoots into the main. Gets 1 more kill. Can he get a second one? He gets 2 kills. Not sure how many kills he got at the 3rd base, but it was a couple. And he confirms the Arbiter timing. So the Arbiter needs something like 2 minutes to get recall, 1 minute to get stasis. And he knows now the exact timing of all that.
Yeah, he saw the first Arbiter, the timing, and he should start calculating about the first Arbiter energy. And he also should be knowing what exactly Bisu loves to do with the first Arbiter. He's not going to go for recall. Once he has that 100 energy, he will be going for the bus most likely. But judging by the supply count, I don't think Bisu is going to be having enough army for the army to go for the bus here, because this is 123 versus 130-ish Bisu's army count. Bisu's supply doesn't climb up that fast, I would say.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he goes for it, but the way he's moving his Arbiter around makes you think like he might. Now there are I guess 2 main angles to attack from on Monopoly, either top right or just straight through the center, and that means that JYJ needs to be careful and put good SimCity at both locations. You see he's got a complete depot wall at the right side. He's got decent SimCity in the middle. So far I would say JYJ's got pretty much perfect defense. And Arbiter is not going to go for the stasis. He's going to turn around now. He needs about 30 more seconds before he can recall though.
Yeah, I guess he's just aiming for enough army to go for the recall, but Bisu's third expansion and the fourth expansion was really late. I mean, he took so much of a damage by the vulture drop in the early stage, and now here are the army. He's just gonna be going for the flank from the both side, but that's not how it's gonna be working out because right side of the army is just purely guns. Okay, this is going to be the recall.
Yeah, but there's only 2 turrets. That means that this Arbiter is not going. Did he not? He did cast recall. Luckily, I thought he didn't have it for a second. He recalls a decent chunk of army. There was not enough mines here. What? A lot of the zealots just instantly get blown up, and there's not. And because Bisu's not maxed, I don't think he can really counterattack or attack at a second spot while this is all happening. So JYJ's just gonna clean this up. That was a big mine hit, and really he just lost 3 turrets and a handful of mines for this.
Yeah, this is bad looking for Bisu because Bisu cannot really bust that third expansion nor bust the natural, and as soon as that recall just got cleared up, JYJ has this 2-1 upgrade just now complete, and he should most likely gonna be starting that 3-2 upgrade on the way. But picking up more probe, like how Fantasy played, this is so nice how he's picking up all those probe one by one, and Bisu is just hesitating what he should be doing in this game.
Yeah, luck is definitely on JYJ's side today. He also picked off the probe that was going to build a base at mid-right. So not only does he intercept the probes transferring, he also denies the 5th base for a little longer. And meanwhile, JYJ beasting it up in terms of macro. He's pretty close to even supply. It's 180 to 160. Turret ring is going down again, and this time around he does have Vessel on patrol. And you can see Bisu setting up for a big attack on the right side, but here comes another stasis, but JYJ sees it.
His player cam, okay, yeah, no, he didn't see it.
He didn't see it.
He saw it the last second, but that's a big recall. One siege tank is there, but might needs to use some D-Matrix. Okay, there's a D-Matrix, but one of the armor. I hope that's not the +3 attack upgrade on the way. Oh, he cancelled it. He cancelled the upgrade.
Yeah. It's 1430 after a somewhat slow-ish armory. I'm not sure how far along +3 would have even been, but yeah, definitely a nice win there for Bisu. But JYJ's up in supply. He didn't really lose again. Much army there. What was it? A single tank and a couple vultures? But the recalls seem to be the move that Bisu wants to make this game, so JYJ needs to make sure that he rebuilds the turrets, relays the mines. He did critically lose his starport though, so this is the only vessel he has right now.
Well, one thing that we have to know is JYJ lost his starport and science facility at the same time. So that means it will take some time for JYJ to rebuild his starport and science facility. He's rebuilding his armory, but he doesn't have the science facility, so he's probably going to be getting that starport later on. But those depots are getting burned. He needs to repair it. I guess he won't be. He's just too busy to repair that single depot. Scanning on the right side to see where the army is moving towards to.
Well, we've got maxed armies for both players. It's 200 for JYJ, about 190 for Bisu. However, Monopoly, look at this SimCity he has at his 3rd base. It's just ridiculous with the 8 tanks and the 3 depots and barracks. It's going to be so hard for Bisu to attack there. That's going to give...
I want to know how many machine shop he got, like, to make this many of these tanks.
Yeah, he has so many tanks right now, and it's Monopoly. Like, once you cut off this path, you can just focus all of your attention to just barrel down the left side. And where does really Bisu have a good angle in that scenario? He doesn't. In fact, some battles. He may even be coming from low ground into high ground. So these arbiters have to stay back and have crucial stasis, I think. Not sure what's in that shuttle. Storm could help immensely in this fight, but look how huge that army is.
Yeah, JYJ is gonna be keep moving up. Maybe he's just waiting to have that +3 attack kicks in. But I wonder. Okay. Oh.
All of his stuff was so clumped up. I was like, oh my god, he's gonna get everything stasis. And actually, that tank count is not as scary with 8 of the tanks sitting at the third base, of course. But it's gonna be near impossible for Bisu to actually engage into it. And behind this, I thought a command center was floating or being built at mid left, but still no 4th base for JYJ. But you can see he's max and he's got a bank, so we may see a ton of add-ons come down. Wow, that is so many tanks. He really thinks a counterattack is coming, and he's right.
Yeah, this decision making that right now, Bisu is doing okay. One of the arbiter, that's probably the new arbiter that he just got. Okay, that one safety field did work on the vessel, but the thing about the Monopoly is so small. I mean, the map size is same as the regular map, but that's so much of a terrain that makes the maps looking so small. And JYJ doesn't really have to bring all of his army to bust Bisu's natural. He can just split his army in half, like maybe leaves 2 groups of army at his 3rd expansion and just bring other 3-4 groups of army and go for the bust. But that's a one nicely stasis field.
That's a huge stasis, but the tank count is not that big, but it's still so hard for the goons to get on top of the tanks. Look at the zealots just funnel in. They still haven't killed a single tank. Now, finally, Bisu's going to get on top of the tanks and clean this up. But I would say this was a decent trade for JYJ. Maybe not, actually. He lost all of his vessels, too. Supplies have plummeted for both players, though. It's 145 to 145. Meanwhile, he lifted his racks, and look at this counterattack of tanks on the right side. This might be an overstep, though.
Well, quite not sure what that 5 tanks are going to be doing. Is he just going to be start taking down those Nexus? Yeah, he will be able to take down those Nexus, or maybe not, but I mean, the distance is so short that Bisu just can bring all of his army to the right side immediately. Well, JYJ does have that 4th expansion running, but I think he needs to save those 5 tanks in order to maintain the game.
Yeah, 5 tanks here is going to be quite expensive, and he doesn't even scan in time. Okay, he's going to... Yeah, this was a big loss for him. 5 tanks didn't kill really much. He killed probes, but Protoss is on 6 Nexus. He can instantly rebuild that. And Bisu had a bank, so he's not really feeling the pain of losing a few probes during this encounter. Now, he's going to feel the pain of that. That's a lot of zealots to die.
Yeah, drawing the attention to the right side was definitely great, but I think he should have just delayed his 4th expansion a bit and then go for the counterattack at the 5 o'clock from with his 2 groups of army at the 3rd expansion earlier. But now, since he has been splitting up his army in half like this, like securing his 4th expansion with some decent amount of these things and bringing another like handful size of army to the right side. But okay, those high ground siege tanks probably gonna be doing some work.
Yeah, I was not expecting to see this many tanks up there, and he does not realize there's DTs. Okay, now he does. Initially, I thought, okay, man, JYJ, you're really splitting up your army here. I don't know about this, but he's going to try and knock down this 5th base again, while also trying to take down the Nexus at mid-right. But again, look how fast Bisu closed the gap from being completely on the left side of the map. And this is going to be another round of isolated tanks. Another 5 or 6 tanks are pretty much going to die for free.
Yeah, I mean, drawing the attention to the both location at the same time and picking up probes like this one by one, definitely nice. I mean, Bisu did lose a lot of probe.
He did, actually.
And JYJ somehow maintaining the supply count 178.
Well, this is where it gets awkward, because now he's taking top right, and he's got to travel the entire distance of the map to defend a recall on the left side, recall on the right side. And with Bisu having the main, you know he can easily just sit an arbiter there and wait for his moment. And this is going to be it's always so hard when you have to defend the entire map, whether you're Terran or Zerg or Protoss. Here comes Bisu, and this is his entire army, all of it. Meanwhile, JYJ has so much supply on the left side.
Okay, there's an Arbiter about to get EMP'd, but the vessel, the unit function is just so weird that they don't throw the EMP on time. Okay, there's a one EMP, but the high ground siege tank is definitely paying off. So well, where's the command center? Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's floating it over. Wow, not that many tanks, but yeah, like you said, the high ground is just so painful. And actually, even though that attack to mid-right I thought did not a lot of damage, you can see Bisu is struggling with his minerals. He's still not even maxed out just yet. So the probe damage was immense. And with the 5th base coming up for JYJ, his NAT wasn't running for a long time. This is going to be a big influx of minerals for him.
Yeah, the game is starting to go really weird for Bisu here because he needs to saturate his base once again. And once JYJ has those 5 bases running, he's just gonna start to have those saved up bank. And once he start having enough bank for going for the trade, or maybe some type of like a base trade or expansion trade, then this is not gonna be the good game scenario for Bisu because Bisu does not have any saved up bank. He's already moving out. JYJ moving out to the right side of the map.
Yeah, I think Bisu has to counter because this seems like an unkillable army. However, Templars on the high ground, he spots them though and he EMPs them instantly. JYJ, he just knows everything. And this army is so devastating for JYJ. There's not really critical mass arbiters either. There's just 2. And look at this positioning. He can even transfer some SCVs here and put up a massive depot or racks wall. Okay, well, this is scary. There's 3 arbiters now. Great stasis.
Yeah, that's a great stasis as you mentioned, but that's just too many guns. I mean, you need Zealot to bust. Okay, there are some Zealots are coming, but those Zealots are not enough to clear this Zealots. But this is just one group of stasis. Okay, he does stasis for 5 tank, but is this enough for Bisu to clear this army? And the answer is Wasn't expecting the Zealot drop, but that was a nice sandwiching them.
Yeah, and look at JYJ's supply plummet. This is what I was talking about. When you have to defend the entire map, you cannot really have a well-concentrated attack. And imagine if he had those 8 tanks that he has on the left side in that attack. He probably would have just easily overwhelmed the army. Another great stasis and EMP. The shuttle doesn't unload, and that means that this attack, I think, will be denied for now because those tanks on the high ground are dishing out so much damage.
And now those 5 siege tanks just got defrost, and 3 Goliaths and a single vessels are still here. And do you have enough energy for the D-Matrix? And the answer is maybe no. I guess he's just... I think Bisu doesn't have any bank to keep up this game because JYJ has the bank. He's gonna be start maxing out once again, like spending all of his resource. He keeps moving all of his army to the right side and has started to have some position on the... Okay, Arbiter, do you have stasis field? And no, he doesn't.
No energy, and those Arbiters are like one-shottable by Goliath too, so he's got to be careful to not lose that army. You can see Bisu, he's trying to get up the ramp, but he's just bleeding units, and JYJ, he's merciless. He's even started to transfer some of the tanks from top right. There's a 30 supply lead for him now, and oh, well, actually, a lot of goons and zealots coming in. Maybe can save the day. That's 5 tanks right there. If he can knock those down, that would be a big loss for JYJ, but still a supply lead for JYJ right now.
JYJ still has a saved up bank. I really want him to see him spending all of his resources. I think Bisu totally forgot about the expansion at the left side. He has taken that expansion, I guess 3 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, but he didn't still saturate it yet because he's just having so much of a pressure because of this non-stop like splitting up the army, attacking both locations, and Bisu is just struggling to clear this army.
Well, he cleared up, he is clearing it up, and those units that became unstasis also got cleaned up. However, now JYJ is starting to push it back. Goons are dying left and right. I didn't see if any of the Arbiters died, but still a 20 supply lead for JYJ. You can see he transferred most of the tanks he had on the left side to the right side now. So there's actually a hole there. Of course, Bisu doesn't know that, but even if he was to make a backstab on the left side of the map, it would leave all of his mining bases vulnerable. Look at what he has mining. Bottom middle's about to mine out. Really, the only bases that are mining are the right side of, sure, he has the left side, but there aren't a lot of probes there.
Yeah, still time is on. Time is the time is kind of favored towards the JYJ here. That he is still having that saved up bank. Hopefully JYJ, he's trying his best to bring in all of his army here. But what happened to Bisu's resource? Like he doesn't have saved up bank, and he's just constantly going for the trade and defending this expansion. And okay, there's a random arbiter at the bottom right side.
Well, this natural is dead. I don't necessarily think JYJ needs to push the main, but if he can knock down the Nat in this bottom right base, that would be critical damage to Bisu. He's already shut down the mineral line. Probes being pulled. You can actually see those two top patches weren't even that effectively mined, so it seems like Bisu's just lacking the probe count right now. Great D matrix, and now Bisu realizes he's going to lose at least these two bases, so he's thinking about potentially counterattacking. You see a lot of movement over there. Oh, maybe that was just probe transfer.
Okay, there's an arbiter recall, but EMP is not going to be throwing off. Will it be? Okay, not enough energy, I suppose, but vultures are already there. Goons are getting melted, and remaining zealots are just easily gets picked up by these vulture easily anyway. And JYJ, look at the supply, 193 versus 140.
Yeah, that was like the entirety of Bisu's army in that recall, and he does not have a successful recall. Sure, he kills a few tanks and vultures, but he needed to actually kill this base because he just lost 2 of them. It's a 60 supply lead for JYJ. He's on the cusp of taking a series lead in this 2-1.
Yeah, I think JYJ is just one couple seconds away of getting GG by Bisu, because Bisu right now he's 2 base mining, but remember there are lots of siege tank on the high ground, and look at those missile turret with the siege tank at the 9 o'clock side.
Yeah, he can't really even attack there. There's only 3 tanks, but they're going to trade so effectively, and Bisu realized, oh my gosh, he's already reinforced with vultures. I imagine this is the last stand for Bisu. All of his zealots basically instantly get blown up by mines. Arbiter is going to die also. Okay, he gets a nice drag there, but still 4 tanks are left over.
Yeah, that's lots of vessels still being alive. Okay, now Bisu taps out, and wow, JYJ absolutely solid play whenever he doesn't get any much of a harassment by opponent, he plays absolutely beast.
Yeah, he clearly does. And I'm kind of getting vibes of Light-esque play, because this is split map scenario. It is so hard to play. And one of the few Terrans that are very confident in split map scenario is Light, and he's just playing it to perfection. Like, his defense is amazing, and he must be scanning super effectively too, because none of these counterattacks from Bisu are working at all, and he just always has the right amount of defense to just stop everything Bisu's throwing at him.
Yeah, the JYJ, the winner picture, definitely looking great. But still, the game is not over yet for the Bisu's fan. We still got a couple more games to play. Maybe it might be the last game for Bisu, or maybe if he's able to win the 4th game, then we still got some more game to watch of this best of 5 series. And yeah, I guess Bisu does have enough worker count. That 57 is decent amount of worker, but remember, he wasn't playing the High Templar playstyle, so of course Gun Zealots are expensive. Whenever you're just going to be relying on Gun Zealot, you want to have about 70-ish worker, but 57 worker, that's good. That's for the High Templar playstyle, because you want to have more spending on those resource for the High Templar and more Zealot production there. But I guess the game concept that Bisu was doing, I guess he was just kind of a little bit off there, because he was having so much of a pressure. Like, this is kind of like a spear versus spear. I mean, JYJ constantly attacks with a small army. No one really does that.
Well, after that engagement that we just saw, where supplies plummeted for JYJ and really didn't move for Bisu, I thought that this attack was going to be more effective, but the goons decided that the barracks was more important than actually attacking the tanks. But he comes back down here, cleans up these tanks too. And I agree, the probe count, even though it's at 57, I mean, that's pretty fine for Protoss. I'm actually surprised to see it was as high as it was because it felt like Bisu just never had the money. But that guy right there, he's an absolute killer in TVP. He's up 2-1. And now it's going to be Bisu's pick. And fourth map is going to be, what is it? Revolver.
Oh yeah,
So this,
Revolver.
yeah, so this is going to be a tough map for Terran. But, I mean, he's been playing so well in split map scenarios. It would be hard to not give the edge here, I think, to JYJ simply because of how well he's playing today.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be moving into the commercial break. We'll be coming back soon after the commercial break. And Bezos fan, the game is still not over. You still got more games. Stay tuned, guys.
We're back, guys. We're going to be going into Game 4, potentially the last game of the series. JYJ is up 2-1. Bisu's been putting on a fight, but he just has no answer to this impenetrable defense from JYJ. So he needs to find one, because it's going to be his map pick, and he's decided he's going to risk his life on Revolver, which, for me, is a very, very hard map to play TVP on.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for Bisu to make a decision whether he wants to do 12 Nexus build or just regular standard build into like the Zala aggression into Nexus follow up or whatnot. Because if the spawning location is kind of like the vertical matchup, it is going to be easy for JYJ to do the Marine SCB rush to break the 12 Nexus build. And also, if it's a horizontal matchup, it's somewhat doable for the cheese rush, how Royal was doing. And I know Royal and Rush kind of likes to go for 11 Refinery on Revolver because of the Nexus first build. And let's see what JYJ has prepared.
Yeah, I actually am kind of hoping we see 12 Nexus, and I'm hoping to see JYJ go for 11 gas or 12 gas and try a bust, because I find it so difficult to bust, whether it's vertical or horizontal or whatever. So this is it, guys. It's going to be Game 4, Bisu on the ropes. He must win here, otherwise he's going to be eliminated, and JYJ moving on into the round of 4.
리볼버 SE에서 게임을 시작합니다.
So in the top left, in the purple, having the series of his life today, it is JYJ. In the top right, our Protoss hopeful, it is Bisu.
Yeah, the match, the spawning location. If I were Bisu, I would still go for 12 Nexus, because this is one of the location you have all of your worker mining in a horizontal line like that. The first mineral and the third mineral, they mine on a straight line, and you get all those mineral boosts. But ASL map data that okay, there's a status information that Terran did not win any games against Protoss. The one of the game I can think of was cross spawn. I don't know whether that was the Nexus first, but Rain went for carrier build against Light, and yeah, Light couldn't even kill that the carrier build.
Yeah, there's a lot of epic sponsored games on here, and a lot of times I see carriers just reign supreme on this map. There's so many high grounds, there's so many ledges. Sure, the middle of the map is pretty open, other than, I guess, those slight ledges, but I mean, everywhere else, it's just so hard to deal with the carriers, and this is going to be a 12 Nexus, so I'm excited to see what JYJ's response is going to be, because I find this to be, oh, it is not 12 Nexus. I'm surprised.
Wait, that's weird. He went for 11 gateway instead of 10 gateway.
Yeah, I'm also thrown off by that, and you can see JYJ was anticipating 12 Nexus because that's an 11 gas from him.
Right. And I don't think he will be going for 13 Scout, but will it be? Okay, I guess he will be still doing the 13 Scout to confirm to confirm the Nexus first. Oh, this is the build that Bisu was aiming for. So this is the mini playstyle that he was doing 3 months ago, that you go for gateway into 13 Nexus into 14 Zala production, and then you start building all those pylon and simulator in the Cybernetics core. And this is one of the other way of going for the Nexus build, and this is kind of, wait, what is this by JYJ? He went for the 11 refinery, but he's building the depot. I guess he forgot that he built the 11 refinery.
Yeah, this is confusing, because remember, what was it, Allegro? I think I pointed out it was a 228 factory. So he got the same exact factory timing, but he cut an SCV for this because he went for 11 gas. So this is kind of a mistake, really, from JYJ. Now, this build is really hard to deal with. The Zealot is so fast. And of course, they get the Nexus behind it, and the Zealot buys you time. And if it gets hits off onto the Marines, all of a sudden the Marines are already softened up. So we'll see if JYJ. Oh, he's pulling already, or not necessarily pulling, but sending his Marines. Now he saw the Zealot, but he's not turning around. He's just going to keep going for it.
Yeah, this is the thing about the 11 Gateway into 13 Nexus build. And you still have that Nexus really, really fast. And Cybernetics Core just gonna be getting completed. Okay, so now Bisu has those 2 Zealot SCVs getting pulled. Marines are moving out. And
That's a big pull also. That's like 8 SCVs. And he's got 3 Marines. The Zealot did not see the Marines move out, but the fact that he only saw 1, he may think like, okay, I know you must have more than this.
yeah, I like how JYJ clicked all those the investment guys are at the 11 o'clock side, and then clicking the mineral field, so you can actually pull those SCV from that side. And now SCVs are coming, Vulture, Marine, everything is coming, but you gotta start putting down the bunker. There's a shield better going up as well. I think the shield better and the bunker, the build timer is about the same amount, same time. And will you really be able to? Okay, Bisu is trying to defend this. But there's no mineral field.
The Vulture died, and that means that the Zealot is going to have free reign over these Marines. Also, the probes are doing so much work. The Goon is still alive. He only has 2 SCVs left. If he kills the 2 SCVs, this is over. Bunker gets up miraculously. He saves one of the SCVs, but those probes and Goons have dealt so much damage, and Bisu's going to hold this, I think. Well, maybe not.
I think this cheese did not work out so well for JYJ, but judging by the worker count, well, I guess both of the worker count has gone down so much. Okay, JYJ is just gonna be giving up the game because he couldn't kill the 12 Nexus build, or I should say the 13 Nexus build. And what did he do wrong in this game?
I'm sure that's what a lot of Terran players are thinking, because I thought the SCV positioning was great. He was body blocking a lot of the probes. It feels like that Vulture was slightly overextended, and once that fell, a lot of the DPS to knock down probes, with 2 shots kind of went down the drain. But the execution, I think, from JYJ was still fantastic, because he, like you said, he clicked the SCVs to the top instead of just directly clicking the minerals of the natural, where the SCVs go through the center of the map and then funnel through the choke. You can't do that. Like it just doesn't work doing that. So I don't really think JYJ could have done much better. It's just such a hard build to punish.
Yeah, I guess he brought decent amount of worker count, but I think he had some AI problem. He had some AI problem because of the pylon. The pylon placement, the SCV and Marine Vultures are not on position, and just those Vultures are also in a front line, so it just instantly got picked off, and those probes are just fighting really, really well, and somehow Shield Battery finishes. Bunker did not finish on time, and now these Guns and probes are just this decent amount of damage.
Yeah, now that we're getting a replay of this, you can see that those Marines, like you said, they shot the pylon like 3 times before actually engaging the probes. So that's a lot of wasted DPS. Of course, getting the Vultures caught twice hurt a lot, and then the battery saved the Goon twice and also saved a lot of the probes. So impeccable defense from Bisu there, and really nice pylon placement, saved him the game potentially. And now he has tied this series up 2-2, and we're going to get a weird map choice. It's going to be Metaverse for Game 5. But before we go into that, we're going to go into our final break of the series, and then we'll find out who's going to be moving into the round of 4. Is it JYJ or is it Bisu? It is time to find out who's going to be moving on into the round of 4. We're back with the final game of our best of 5 series between JYJ and Bisu. JYJ playing so well today, but still the score is 2-2. Bisu had fantastic defense on Revolver and on Eclipse. Great play with the DT into Arbiters. But we're going to be going into Metaverse as our Game 5 matchup. I don't even think we've seen a TVP on this map just yet in ASL, have we?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. We have seen one game. That was Bisu versus Light, and Bisu went for the gateway scout and gas steal. Light's gas, and Light was kind of ruined in the game. That was a vertical matchup also.
I think I must have missed that game because I don't remember.
Yeah, that was in round of 24.
All right, well, I don't remember that game in particular, but I guess you'll have to run us through some Metaverse play, TVP. I know that carriers are especially popular on this map, with the middle bases being so hard to deal with. So I wonder what JYJ has planned for that. You know, he's been playing pretty passive all day long. Maybe he'll come up with a timing, but this is it, guys. We're about to get into Game 5. It's Bisu versus JYJ.
메타버스에서 게임을 시작합니다.
All right, in the top right, our red Terran, it is JYJ. And in the bottom left, our yellow Protoss, it is Bisu. So we've got cross spawns here. How does this play out for TVP on Metaverse?
Well, I honestly don't know because I haven't gotten to see such a long game on Metaverse, but I guess we have seen 3 games so far on Metaverse, one to 2. So, yeah, Bisu did win against Light in the round of 24. Gateway Scout into Gas Steal, and then Xylo Regression into some type of like an expansion, I believe, and yeah, Light was kind of stuck on a 1 base, 2 factory build. And yeah, JYJ is probably going to be happy about on the right side mineral at the 1 o'clock side, so he's going to be boosting up 54-second supply depot. Decent looking.
Yep, since JYJ seems to be a dropship play guy, I feel like this could be a good map for him, even if he just, you know, drops off like 2 vultures to bottom middle, for example. He can shut down that 3rd base you can see on the low ground, not necessarily the exact bottom middle base, but the one action took yesterday. He can also, you know, potentially tank drop mid left and try and shut down mineral mining there. Now Bisu, last game I got jebaited with his delayed gate. This time around, actually does look like this is going to be a 12 Nexus.
And we see 12 refinery going up for JYJ. And I guess JYJ's might gonna have some bad luck here that Bisu has gone for the 12 Nexus build. And this is not a horizontal or vertical matchup, this is cross spawn. And whenever it's a cross spawn, you cannot really do the cheese.
Yeah, so if you can't pull versus a 12 Nexus, what do you think is a good response to it?
Well, there are 2 ways of responding to this 12 Nexus. It would be Spider Mine research into 3 Nexus, but where can you put your third command center to stop all those Protoss aggression in the early stage?
Yeah, you can't take mid right because there's power generators. There's same thing with top middle, and I guess maybe you could take the low ground base, but it's going to be so wide open. You're going to have so few units. It's going to be pretty hard to defend that. So we'll see what JYJ comes up with. Of course, he could go for like drops or something. He's had success with them all day long. Even though Bisu has seen them coming, he still has had trouble dealing with it. So I mean, that could be an option. Meanwhile, JYJ still has no idea that this is a 12 Nexus. This is so brutal. He's not going to cut Marines here. He's going to continue to build them, and it's just not going to help him.
Yeah, so the thing JYJ can be doing in this type of game scenario would be super fast upgrade build or starport build, or maybe even go for a dropship play, but that probe is just buying some time, seeing whether this is going to be cheated or whatnot. And now JYJ sees, oh yeah, Nexus first. Oh, no Zala production either. Wow, Bisu is just being so greedy. He didn't even make a single Zala here. And we know JYJ cannot do the cheese here too.
Well, he is getting across the map pretty fast, and goons are not exactly the fastest unit to build. They're like 32 seconds. Remember, that ramp can be blocked by an SCV like that. So if the Vulture gets across the map and he can hold position at SCV, he might be able to rack up a few probe kills. He's already taken down one. Get into the natural. He could get one or two more. If he can get one or two more, that would put him in a decent position. Okay, thankfully, Bisu does evacuate the probes. That's a nice move.
And nicely buying some time by the SCV. And Bisu is about to sneak out those two guns. And that must be the, yeah, okay, now JYJ decided to go for 420 armory build. He's gonna be rushing with a super fast upgrade. Of course, he knows dropship is not gonna be working out so well in the early stage, because it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You go for 2 base super fast starport build against the 12 Nexus build, and your Vulture drop didn't work out anything, then you're pretty much dead. Your upgrade is slow, you don't have any siege tank, and it's just kind of really hard to catch up in terms of economic disadvantage in the early stage.
Yeah, and I was wondering what that upgrade's going to be. It's going to be mines, which you expect. However, I have seen players like Rush go into speed because, you know, Terran knows that Protoss knows it has to be mines. And you can see Bisu obviously thinks it's going to be mines, so he's playing defensively. But if you go for just speed and just run by these Dragoons, first off, Protoss is not expecting it, and you may be able to rack up a few probe kills and catch up. But not going to be the case this time around. You can see the minefield set up all over the place. Really good positioning right there. And we do have that fast armory like you were talking about. I don't see a starport anywhere. I don't see second factory anywhere. Meanwhile, Bisu going into observatory play.
But we are seeing the second gas has gone off for Bisu long time ago. So I'm gonna be assuming Bisu might gonna go for 2 base carry build like how Rain was doing, and I would be so sad to see if he goes for carrier build, because carrier never betrays you as whenever you're doing carrier build as Protoss.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the 12 Nexus, he has to get the gas up relatively fast because his gas is so low. We do see a building put down. That is not a Stargate. Oh, it is a Stargate, actually. And that's cybernetics. I guess we haven't confirmed whether range is completed or whatever. This could be weapon upgrade.
I guess the range upgrade is still not done yet for Bisu, because that gun range seems really short to me. Yeah, he's trying to hold position those good and try to pick up the spider mine. That keeps missing the shot.
I see that. This is this is what Artosis dreams to happen when he is in a scenario like this. Watch the goons miss. Now, I feel like that's got to be a tell to JYJ, and that's a perfect scan. He sees exactly what's going on. We see he's committed to a starport bottom right, though. Do you think this is a mistake now that he sees the Stargates?
No, I think this is okay for JYJ, because he's still gonna be aiming for super fast 2-1 upgrade, and Bisu with his first and second observer right now, he's sending towards the JYJ's main base. Oh, you don't have your starport. Oh, what are you doing with your making tank and Goliath? Oh, are you gonna be rushing into +1 5 factory? But technically it is not a +1 5 fact timing rush by JYJ. We still have to see. Bisu has to see whether JYJ has put down the starport or whatnot, but will he be able to find the starport?
Oh, I think his vision is just barely out of range. No, it's barely in range. Not only does he see the starport, he's also going to see the science facility. And what's funny about this is, I was going to say, I don't think I've ever seen an observer actually find these two buildings when Terran has gone for it, but he does, and now he knows exactly what's going on, and again he'll be in prime position to shut down a drop.
Yeah, dropship production is on the way, and I like I like JYJ's position because he skipped his eBay. He got his academy up. He has been scanning to figure out where the guns are located at, and now JYJ is spotting all those expansion and gun location, so he knows Bisu has prepared against those dropships. So I guess he's not gonna be taking that much of a risk, but he's still aiming for 2-1 upgrade on the way. Those vulture drop not gonna be unloaded.
Yep, doesn't get any damage done. Okay, this is heavy factory. It's a 6-fact follow-up so far. May see 7-fact. As you pointed out, the 420 armory is incredibly fast, so he's already got +1. His +2 should have already started, and we may be going into a 7-fact follow-up and just try and bust this guy before he can get into the critical mass 6 to 8 carriers.
I like how JYJ has put 4 workers at the natural, because the thing about you have to understand about this worker coming out from the refinery, or I should say the gas, like whenever the gas on the right side or the bottom side, you have to put 4 workers in order to have efficiently mining. So yeah, JYJ does have 4 SCV on the second gas, so he's definitely trying to get those enough gas to make tank, collide, and factory on the way. And yeah, JYJ probably gonna be moving out with the 2-1 7 factory with the 2 base timing attack. And yeah, with this amount of army right now JYJ has, I mean, I'm surprised how well he's keeping up the supply. 120 supply at 10-minute mark. This is insane.
Yeah, and it's not even that. It's a 12 Nexus opener. So for Terran to be within 20 supply versus a 12 Nexus opener is incredible. Here comes that drop into the main. And I like how JYJ's out in the center of the map like, hey, don't forget that I've got units here. You gotta pay attention here. But meanwhile, the real attention is in the main, and unluckily for JYJ, he doesn't realize that the goons just barely had moved out of position. He could have gotten some damage in there while the cannon wasn't completed. But here comes JYJ. He only has 3 Goliaths though, but with 7-fact production, that 3 Goliaths will turn into 10, turn into 17, 24 so quickly.
This is insane how fast JYJ is keeping up the supply.
He also has range, and that shuttle's already basically dead. That's a great siege. He even has vision onto the goons with the vultures that kills 3 instantly.
Yeah, those are the carriers that just now came out. Bisu cannot queue up his 5th carrier and 6th carrier. The speed lot is done, but the early guns that he lost, and of course this is a high ground, and that's a lot of vultures are doing some great job, but that's definitely a lot of Gonzalo army. The reinforcement JYJ really needs to bring right now. Those tanks are getting picked up by the carrier. Carriers are picking up the tank one by one. 1-1 upgrade is done, but +2 hasn't done yet for JYJ. But is this enough for JYJ to trade the army?
I don't think so. He lost all. Oh, Goliath in the back. He's still got 1 tank left over, but he doesn't have any vultures anymore. He is not going to pick off a carrier. However, he did whittle down a lot of the interceptors. Oh, no, he actually didn't. He's focusing down that carrier. And these zealots are dealing so much damage, man. He doesn't get it.
And I was 1 hit away of picking up the single carrier, but now JYJ has so much of a resource. He needs to pay attention. He brought all those vulture, but there's not much of a Goliath remaining. Yeah.
He has nothing in the air anymore, and look at the power spike. Oh, it's painful to watch. +2 weapon just kicked in right now, so he missed his big power spike. It looked so good for him after the big tank shot, but now he's going to transition into a 3rd base, so that means he's done with this push.
Yeah, I wonder what that drop did, but I guess that dropship did some amount of harassment. But yeah, JYJ is getting that +3 attack upgrade on the way still, so that's still good. Yeah, that's finally the eBay right now JYJ is building. So yeah, JYJ kinda needs to get his 3rd gas as soon as possible in order to keep up this game. And now vultures are going to be rotated to the top left side, and those guns, Bisu, or I guess today he keeps stepping on the Spider-Man for some reason.
Well, now it's a 40 supply lead for Bisu. He has a lot of carriers, a lot of goons. There's not a lot of zealots though, but JYJ got onto high ground again. So he's going to have a better defensive position, and Bisu's not going to feel confident to engage there. Metaverse is such a hard map to deal with carriers. There's so many ledges, so much terrain that you just can't access. Like if the carriers get to the top middle of the map, the Goliaths just flat out can't get there anymore. So JYJ needs to be diligent to try and keep these carriers in the center of the map where he can actually fight them.
Yeah, I kind of find JYJ is on a sad position because that attack timing was great, but he had to go all the way around from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock and then start attacking the opponent because the center of the map, the terrain is so abusive. And okay, those carriers are doing some more, picking up the carrier one by one, but one of the two carriers are dangerously low HP.
Yeah, they're super low, but the tank count is
Oh.
equally low. There's a 50 supply lead for Bisu right now. He's gonna lose 2 carriers, but the leftover ground army is more than enough to clean up the Terran army. I think maybe not with the tanks on the high ground, but there's still 2 carriers dishing out a lot of damage to these tanks. There's just no Goliaths.
Yeah, this map, I mean, JYJ did his best. JYJ did his best, but the map is just wrong. I just have to blame the map maker. This is...
The map is...
Yeah, I have to blame for the map. JYJ didn't do anything wrong.
The map is very tough, but at the same time, Bisu's clutch defense there, and that was after a huge volley from the tanks, knocking down 3 or 4 goons. So really nicely done from Bisu there. I actually was surprised how well JYJ was keeping up in the macro, like you said, and I thought for sure he was going to bust, but as the vultures dwindled down, I thought, okay, I've seen this before. Zealots get on top of all the tanks, and then all of a sudden there's really nothing to deal with the ground, because the Goliaths are obviously shooting the carriers, and I mean, that's kind of just how it goes sometimes. So unfortunately, JYJ again in the round of 8, he's going to be knocked out, but our Protoss superstar, he's going to be moving into the round of 4.
Yeah, Bisu did play well with the mind game, going for the Nexus build on game number 4, and game number 5 for the 12 Nexus build, so that was well played with the mind game. JYJ, I kind of wanted to see him playing at least one game of Rex expansion, but I guess he just had maybe lots of pressure and maybe having some less experience than Bisu, so not a ballsy move for JYJ, but he did play well.
Yeah, he did play well, and you can see that the trailing army just took so long to get here that by the time it got here, there were no vultures left over. So a bit unlucky there, and luck was on the side for Bisu, and you can see, like, once the tanks and vultures get wiped out, there's nothing for the Goliaths to do other than try and save the day and take down the carriers, but the carriers just run away, and one of them survived with 1 hit, as you pointed out. And from here, it's not necessarily impossible, but it's such a hard position for JYJ to come back from.
Yeah, I thought it was still doable, but I guess losing that many up there. Maybe, I wonder if the game would have been different if JYJ waited 30 seconds more before the attack. Like waiting on like the 12-minute 2-1 upgrade attack. That would have been much better. But I guess we're going to be moving into the interview here. And the ASL Season 13 Round of 8, this is match 4. The third player who will be advancing into the semi-final that is going to be Bisu. And we haven't seen him in semi-final for a long time. And every single game that you played wasn't easy for you, and must be feeling something fresh that you are now back into round of 4. And how do you feel? And Bisu is saying he hasn't gotten the seeded player or seeded the seeded list for a long time, so he feels kind of something new. And he wasn't playing so much.
이번 시즌 하면서
So
실력에
throughout
비해서
this
좀 운이 많이
this
따르는 것
season,
같아요. 뭐 빌드나
build order doesn't matter, location doesn't matter,
너무 잘 따라줘가지고 저도 좀 신기할
and
따름이에요.
the situation kind of had to matter for him,
경기
and he
계속
kind of had some
승패를 주고받으면서
nice luck for him that he
정신적으로도
was able to make it into
조금은
round of 4.
힘들지 않았을까 하는 생각이 드는데요. 몇 번째 세트가 끝나고 나서 가장 좀 심적으로 좀 단단히 부여잡아야겠다라는 생각을
So,
하셨을까요?
which game made you to
일단 질 때마다 좀
made you to feel that you
멘탈이 좀
had to
흔들렸어요. 첫 경기
play
같은
really well?
경우는 좀
So he's
긴장한
saying
게
his game
있었는데
number 1.
좀 다른
He did
거라면서 제가 좀
he did
흐트러졌고
prepare a lot for
세
game
번째
number
모노폴리
1,
같은
and he
경우는
tried out all of
제가
the
진짜 좀
things that he wanted to do in
전투나
game
이런
number 1. Didn't
뭔가
work out
상황
so
같은 게
well.
그래도 괜찮았다고
So
생각했는데
네.
영재가 너무
he
잘
just
맞고
had some
그 위에 운영을 너무 잘하더라고요.
mentally
그래서 오늘
broke, but he
이렇게
tried his
끝나나
best.
좀 생각을
He kind of
했죠.
thought he's gonna be getting
아무래도 모노폴리가
eliminated
가장 좀 아쉬운 마음이 많이 드실 것
eliminated in
같아요.
this best of 5 series in
세시도
game number
길목에서 탱크를 다소 얼리는
4
모습을 굉장히
because
좋았고 잘
JYJ
교전도
was bringing those
하셨는데
SCV
한시적으로
and
미처
Marine
병력을 다
Vulture
정리하지
cheese
못하고
rush,
올라가는
but
판단을
he managed to hold it
하시면서부터
off.
약간
So
김태경
kind of had
선수의
some
뜻대로
lucky moment
풀려가지
there.
않았던 것 같거든요.
네, 근데 제가 리플레이를 봤는데
네.
한 번도 유리한 적이 없더라고요.
So he, the caster was saying
나만 좀
about
힘들었나
you
이런
weren't
생각이 들었고
having
그
some.
경기는 그냥 저희
advantage.
있었으니까 있고 네 번째 경기 리볼버
So they're talking about the monopoly
이런
that
생각을 했죠.
Bisu
확실히
took a look
다른
on his
경험이
replay.
많았던
He
김태경
never
선수
had any
때문에
lead in that
정영재
game.
선수가
Everything
준비해온
was
노림수가
behind for him.
뜻대로 통하지 않게끔
So he
만들었던
knows his
김태경
mistake
선수였습니다.
of that game
네
number
번째
3.
세트 리볼버
So I
정영재
guess
선수의
that
치즈를
probably
정말 절묘하게 배터리와 프로브로
decided for him to
막아내셨어요.
play something different.
위쪽에 제가 가스통 찍을 줄은 생각을 못 해가지고
so
치즈러시가 안 오는 줄
Bisu
알았어요. 그래서
said
좀 당황하면서 막았는데
he wasn't
이게
expecting
은근히
of the cheese
막아보니까
rush, but
이빌 때가 좀 막을만 하더라고요. 치즈러시를. 그래서 그래도 좀
he wasn't actually
해가지고
expecting of
잘
JYJ
막아보자.
clicking the
배터리
top
있고
Vespin Geyser for the
프로브랑 좀잘
SCV
비비면
cheese rush.
막지 않을까 그런 생각을 했는데 좀 잘 막히더라고요.
And
결국에
since he has
승부수가 됐던
prepared
다섯
this
번째 세트에서 노게이트 더블을
defending the cheese rush
선택하시고
while
대각이
his
나는 또
practice game,
원서치까지 성공을
it did work out so
정찰을
well
성공을
for him.
하셨어요. 그때야 좀 마음이 놓이셨을 것 같은데 그때 좀
And
어떠셨나요?
일단 대각선 걸리는 순간
And they're talking about the game number 5.
이런 생각을 했고 제가 네 번째 경기를 하고 나서
So he's kind of saying the game number
좀
5, he went for the
좀
12
안
Nexus and went for the
좋더라고요.
cross scout, knowing that this is a cross-bound
더블
matchup.
한 그런
He knows what's up. He
느낌도
knows
있어요.
he's leading. He's gonna be
또 한
most
번의
likely gonna
테란
be winning the game
다전제가
easily
4강에서
because
김태경
he
선수를
knows
기다리고 있습니다.
and everyone knows Terran cannot
이재호
cheese in the
선수의
cross-bound location.
테란전은 정영재 선수와 또 다른 느낌이 들 것 같은데
And
4강 자신 있으신가요?
what do you think of your semi-final?
다른 스타일로 뭔가
PBT against JYJ and PBT against Light is probably different feeling for you.
오늘 경기랑
What do you think when you're facing against Light?
못해요.
And Bisu
제가
is saying that he's
뭔가
not
좀
satisfied with
중후반
his
가면
result and his
뭔가
gameplay of this
못해가지고 지지 않을까
round of
라는
8.
생각이 들고요.
So
남은
if
기간
he
동안
plays against Light
테란전만
with this
해가지고
current condition or
무조건
current
먹을 수
level
있도록
like this,
하겠습니다.
또
he's just gonna be
오랜만에
getting
이렇게
knocked out
거의
easily by
5년
Light because
만에
Light is
4강에
definitely one of the Terran
진출한
players who's
김태경
really,
선수
really
얼마나
great
많은 팬분들이 보고 싶으셨을까요?
against Protoss.
팬분들께도 한 말씀 해주시면 좋을 것
Any last
같아요.
word to your fans?
일단 뭐 응원해 주신 분들 너무
So
감사드리고
there's lots of fans probably cheering for him.
뭔가
He wants to say thanks to them.
경기력은 좀 안 풀리는데 어떻게 또
The game didn't go on well for him as he planned.
또 ASL 반트 때 말고는 결승에 올라간 적이 없거든요. 진짜 한 고비만 넘기면
And he wants to
결승이니까 많이 응원해 주셨으면 좋겠고
He wants
또 연습
his
진짜
fans
잘
to still
도와준
rooting for him
영진이랑
for the
진짜
round of
너무
4.
고마워요.
He wants to say
응원해
thanks to
너무
Rush and Royal
감사드립니다.
for the practice
네,
game.
고맙습니다.
Thank you for the
네, 다시
support,
한번 4강
and he will try his
진출
best for the
축하드립니다.
round of 4
김태경 선수의
against
저력
Light in the
4강에서도
future.
기대하겠습니다.
And we're excited to see you once again
이렇게 세
for the
번째
next
4강
week
진출자 프로토스
for
김태경
Bisu
선수와
versus
함께했습니다.
Light. And thank you for the interview.
We're getting a rundown of today's matches. Remember, JYJ said he's going to win 3-0 if he won the first game, and he did win the first game, but then after that, it ended up being definitely the best round of 8 match we've had so far. 3-2 score. So close. JYJ, I thought he might have it on Metaverse, but Bisu, a little bit too strong there. Good choice of builds with the carriers. It's the first time in the entire series we saw the carriers, and he executed it to perfection. And I agree with Bisu's statement here about versus Light. There wasn't really a game today where I thought, okay, this is the Bisu of old, so he needs to turn it on in the series versus Light. Otherwise, it may be a different scenario for him. He may get knocked out. But what we're waiting for is the first match. It is going to be Rain versus Soulkey. We still have not rounded out our top 4 because this has been delayed so long. You can see the map pool: Revolver, Allegro, Eclipse, Vermeer, and Butter. Hopefully that can get done because this is definitely one of the fan favorites. Everybody loves Rain, and they want to see if Soulkey can actually take him down and move into the round of 4.
I'm kind of fine Rain being so despicable on this game, the map choice for the game number 1 on Revolver, because as Zerg player, they're always complaining that they don't have any chance beating against Protoss on Revolver because the natural is high ground. You cannot do 973, you cannot do Hydralisk pressure, because imagine if the spawning location is like the cross spawn or the vertical, then your Hydralisk have to go all the way around to take down the Forge and Gateway, and that takes forever for them, and it's kind of forcing Zerg players to go for the lair attack. And of course, Protoss just probably gonna be skipping those Zala products in the early stage and put some photon cannon and go all those super fast technology build like Stargate or maybe Sotobat Dune. And yeah, that's the thing that Protoss has such a huge lead in Revolver.
Yeah, Revolver is just a really ridiculous PvZ map. It's going to be really hard for Soulkey to get a win there. However, if he gets a win there, you would imagine that that's going to give him an advantage going into the future games, because I saw his second map pick was Allegro, definitely a pretty good Zerg map, and then Eclipse is also not a bad Zerg map for ZVP.
Yeah, I find Eclipse ZVP is kind of like an even matchup. But thing is, it's also easy, not hard, but not also easy. It's still doable for Protoss to take the third expansion on Eclipse for Protoss against Zerg. But we have seen Snow was getting contained by Lurker, by Gamo's Hydralisk Lurker playstyle, and I wonder if Soulkey is going to be doing that playstyle against Rain.
Yeah, I remember a lot of the games that we've seen from Soulkey, especially on Eclipse, is he does go for that style. And what I really want to see is a lot of Zerg players go into the +2 weapon on the Hydras. That's just the default go-to. But in some of the games, I see Soulkey rush the armor. Like he gets armor after weapon upgrade, like after +1, and that can kind of negate the Protoss gameplay of just sticking to +1 weapon and then going into +2 armor themselves. So I'm curious to see what his upgrade order is going to be in this series, whether he's going to try and mind game Rain, be like, hey man, I might get armor here, I might get +2 weapon. You're going to have to make a judgment call here, because if you guess wrong, all of a sudden your +2 armor power spike is not so strong anymore.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big homework for both players, whether they want to do the Lurker contain or have to go for the busting the Lurker contain. And yeah, I think schedule is somewhat delayed. I have to double check whether it is gonna be the round of 4 next week. I still have to check.
Yeah, I think Tuesday, which is the 29th, is going to be our Rain versus Soulkey series. And I think one of the round of 4 matches is the next day. I would imagine that's going to be Bisu versus Light. Again, we would have to check that.
But normally you cast the round of 4 group A first. That means whoever advanced in, but it doesn't make sense because Rain and Soulkey, they just played yesterday and then they just have to prepare again for the round of 4. That's just such a short time for the preparation for the players, so probably not going to be happening. So yeah, I think you might be right about the Light versus Beast for the next week.
Right, well, looks like Caster Park is signaling that this is going to be the end of the cast. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Hopefully Rain versus Soulkey will get played. And then I think, like we said, the 30th is going to be one of the round of 4 matches. That should be Light versus Bisu. It's going to be fantastic next week. Definitely tune in. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you there.